speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kirk, dog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, dog. I'm who you with, Kirk, dog. Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully y'all had a great day today. If you're in the Metroplex, DFW Metroplex, be aware we're getting another round of storms coming in later tonight. It was confirmed, I believe it was 2 tornadoes that touched down in Dallas yesterday, so please be aware of it. I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house. Welcome to the show, Marcella Smith. I see you in here early tonight. Said, I'm ready. Let's go, my people. You can also live chat with us in the chat room, regardless of where you're at. You can live chat with us. Only thing we ask that you are respectful. And also we ask that you also come with facts. No conspiracy theory allowed here. And please do not put any links on my page. It will get you blocked immediately. So now you know the rules. Welcome into the house. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of stories. Not long, but I also want to throw out a question. So the question is tonight, and this is coming from a comment that was left about the show last night. One thing that the person said was, hate is being taught again. My question is, when did people stop teaching hate? Because in my eyes, hate have always been taught against Black folks. Hate is not something that people are born with. They have to be taught this. But for the person that left the comment, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for watching. Please continue to watch. Continue to share this channel because it's an open platform for everyone. But the question is people starting to teach hate again? Have had hate ever stopped being taught? Because I've gave some of my stories where I walked into a convenience store and a little child told his father, "Ooh, daddy, a Black man." I looked at the dad and said, "I'd have slapped the hell out of you." But told him he needed to teach his kids better. So hate have always been taught against Black people. And I appreciate the person that left the message, but hopefully you stick around and you learn some things. But on tonight, agenda, along with that question, we're going to talk about the boat law 929. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the unemployment benefits here in Texas and other states also. So you might need to check your state to find out when it's going to end. We're going to talk about uh, Machiavelli, Bill Gates. Um, and then we're going to talk about Richard E. Jackson. We're going to talk about that last because I know that's going to take the longest. We're going to show you why so many Black people are sent to jail for not being represented right, or people withholding information that could send them free. People say it's not an issue between black and white laws, but it is. So stick around for that one. Marcella said, no, hate has never stopped being taught. It's just being uncovered to be seen in public. And you're right about that. It's definitely uncovered. People not ashamed no more. But hate have always been taught in the homes of other race. Now, the way I was raised to love everyone, to respect everyone, as long as they giving you that respect. So the thing is, unfortunately, you hear about people would say, "Oh, blacks are aggressive. Blacks are thugs. They're thieves. They steal. They smell. They look like monkeys." But let the truth be told, when a certain group of folks get wet, they smell like puppy dogs. I'm just saying. If this your first time on the show, we keep it real on the show. We don't bite our tongue, but it's also to give people knowledge, because the thing is, it's so easy for people to address what they feel that is wrong in the black community, but they don't look at their own community, because all these things that this person said, and like I told them, I said, hey, unfortunately, people only look at the black community when it comes down to these things. But let the truth be told, it's in every community. Every race have issues. Every race have people that is up to no good. Every race have people that don't want to work, lazy. Every race have people that steal. Every race have people that is on drugs. But the only race that you hear about is the black race. That's the only one you hear about. Marcella said, whenever there is love, hate is somewhere around, and hate would try to convince you that it is better than love. Then the question becomes, how strong is your love? Ooh, see, Marcellus, you be preaching. I know where you're going. Love is the greatest command, but some people forget about that. Love thy neighbors. I can communicate with anybody. I can have a relationship with anybody, but depends on how I deal with you. It's based upon how you treat me, how you deal with me. I've always said I have a small group of friends, people I can call friends, um, because one thing about these friends, when I'm wrong, they will correct me. They have no problem saying, "Hey, Kurt, dog, you messing up. Get your stuff together." And I'm the same way with them. That's the type of friendship I like. But at the same time, when you get people to think because of what's going on in this world, racism is being taught. No, racism have always been here. It have always been here. So it's it's not it it's not been taught in the black community, but because of the actions of the way that this world treat the black community, people is tired of it. See, when you start pushing back, it becomes a problem. People think, oh, you racist. No. When you start speaking up, people have problems with it. It doesn't mean you racist. You just tired of people stepping all on you. At some point, you got to say enough is enough. So if I offend someone, you might need to check yourself. For the simple fact, what I'm talking about is stuff I personally have experienced, just like many other black folks have experienced it. That's why we seeing all these cops killing innocent people and nothing is being done about it. But when people get upset that we're taking a stand on things, they want to say we racist. It's not that we racist. We're tired. We're tired of dealing with the things that goes on in this world, and we're not being recognized. Now the thing is, I don't know who this person was. If they just caught the show last night for the first time, I don't know. But if you stick around, you might just learn a little something, something. Because one thing about it, we're going to treat everybody with respect on this show. I don't care who it is. I don't care what party you support. As long as you are respectful, you have a platform and you able to speak your mind. But please be respectful with it. People used to come in the chat saying crazy things. Why? It don't make no sense. But instead of you coming in and trying to find out where I'm coming from and where other people coming from, you just automatically assume we racist. Marcella said, here's the thing. People who think that you are a threat or insecure about themselves. Only the strong claim they are strong around the weak. Yeah, they are. I'm strong within myself. I don't have no problem speaking my mind. Now, it been times where um, I didn't care about your feelings. And technically, I really don't care about it now. But but I have a way of coming across for you can understand it. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Because one thing about it, people leave messages all the time. I try to respond to them. Um, Depends on what you say. I'm gonna tell you thank you for listening to the show. Please like, share, click the notification, and subscribe. I appreciate you for doing that. Hey, thank you for your support. Everybody is welcome here. But hate have never stopped being taught. Hate is taught majority of the time in the home. From the time that child is born, then by the time they become teenagers and adults, that's all they've ever heard. That's all they ever heard. Well, black folks do this, black folks do that. And then when they look at black folks, instead of trying to get to know for themselves, they go by with what someone else told them. A conspiracy theory. Kind of like all these terrorists that attack Capitol Hill on January 6th. They went by with what someone else told them instead of doing their research themselves. You got to start thinking for yourself. That's all to it. But we'll get over it. We'll make it through it. But also last Friday, I believe it was, or last week, Texas House of Representatives passed a bill on Friday called the Botham Jean Act, named after a black man uh, that was who was killed by an off-duty police officer in 2018. The legislation would require an officer. See, that's the key. They will require an officer body worn camera to be activated for the entirely of an investigation that involved them. Mainly, how you heard when Botham Jean was murdered in his apartment. First thing the president of the police union told Amber Geiger, make sure your camera off, cut your camera off, cut your camera off. I feel like it should have stayed on because now you finna school them what to say. If they did nothing wrong, they shouldn't have a problem about the video camera being on. But if you're trying to cover up something and hide something, first thing you're gonna say, cut your camera off. You don't want that proof. Yeah, and so the bill sponsor, Texas Rep. Carlos Sherman, Democrat, said in a statement that the new legislation is focused on systematic accountability and policing, and added that it was a watershed moment to see the bipartisan support of the bill. Um, I'm thankful that we are continue to work from a place of bipartisanship, um, and that we have found the common ground to move boat law into law in the state of Texas. I also want to thank House Speaker Dave Phelan for his support, Sherman said in a statement. In keeping with the spirit of the young man who HB 929 was named after, let the spirit of Botham Jean continue to rise among us. The bill was named 929 to honor Jean's birthday, according to the morning news. The bill comes after Botham Jean was killed by an off-duty police officer, Amber Geiger, in 2018, who shot Jean in his apartment after mistaking him as a burglar. Geiger uh, guy who was fired was convicted of murder in 2019 and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The House voted 108 to 34 to pass the bill, where it is headed to the state Senate. Now, I, that's kind of concerning. Passed to the state Senate. Hopefully, they do what's right. Hopefully, they do. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos, my brother from Canada. Welcome to the show. Thank you for always supporting you and Marcellus both. Thank y'all for supporting the show. So they is going to the Senate, Texas State Senate. So hopefully they do what's right, sign it into law, and then from there it will go to Greg Abbott to sign it. So hopefully they do what's right, and we will see. We will see. Yeah, we will see. Because Greg Abbott is also the person that sent out a letter, online petition letter to get people to try to stop the police from being defunded. But like we said last night on the show, we need some counselors on the force that can handle mental illness. We definitely need that. So hopefully that bill is passed. And shout out once again to my little brother Chris Norman and his team for working to get the name of Botham Jean changed here in Dallas. That part of Lamar is actually named after Botham Jean. So shout out to Chris Norman for working hard on that, him and his team. I appreciate y'all for the hard work that you do. Um, so, Radio, I know you came in a little bit late, and I'm asking this question tonight. I didn't get a chance to put it up in the chat, but do you feel like racism is being taught again? Do you feel like it ever stopped being taught at any point? Because someone left a comment and said racism have started to be taught again. And I personally feel like it never stopped being taught. Every time you say something about a minority, kind of like the last administration, he got in there out of fear. He used fear to get elected because he told people that the immigrants that was coming across the border, they murderers, they rapists, and stuff like that, out of fear, to claim that's how he's going to get the wall built, out of fear. That's why people supported him, because he spoke racism to get elected. That's my personal opinion. So, Radio, let us know how you feel about it once you put it up. We'll come back to it and see what you have to say. And that's not just for Radio, but anybody who just tuned in that have their own opinion. Let us know how you feel about it. Do you feel like it's taught? It's been taught again. Do you feel like it ever stopped? I don't feel like it did. But also on the next story, Texas, June 26th. If you're getting unemployment benefits, that $300 extra finna cut out on June 26th. In Texas, some other states, depends on where you're located, they're also cutting it out. So what you need to do is start looking. June 26th here in Texas, that 300 is gone. Because they're saying that the economy is booming now, business are opening back up, they're trying to find workers. There's no reason why you can't find work. Now, I understand some people have medical issues, and we're still in a pandemic. Don't get that twisted. We're still in the middle of it. So, um, so definitely, I understand those people, but for the ones that trying to beat the system, unfortunately, they finna cut it out. So now, also unfortunately, with what's going on with the pandemic and all of that, I feel like we're still trying to open things up too quick, with the CDC coming out saying if you've been vaccinated, you shouldn't have to wear a mask. Mm, we don't know enough about this thing. I will continue to wear my mask. Um, Radio said racism is definitely taught. Unfortunately, people teach this stupidity to people when they are young. Yes, it's taught in the house. They're told black folks are thugs or mean, aggressive. Uh, they smell bad, look like monkeys, and all type of other stuff. It's definitely taught. So that's what my response was to the person that left it. So hopefully they're listening in tonight and they understand racism have never been uh, had never stopped being taught. It always had been taught, and it shouldn't be. If we're gonna love our neighbors, but then again, people hate people just because the color of their skin. It don't make a difference who you are. They look at you and they automatically assume who they feel that you may be instead of checking you out for real, instead of taking the time to get to know you. So yeah. Um, Along with the unemployment, definitely if I don't know if they're gonna extend it, but from the stories I read and that came out June 26th here in Texas is the last day. After June 26th, you would not be able to get that extra $300 on your unemployment. So um, start making plans. That's all I can say. And please let me explain something to y'all. Please do not go out, find a job, and still collect that unemployment. Because if you do, you're gonna have to pay it back. You're gonna have to pay it back. That's without a doubt. You will have to pay it back. They will get their money. So if you start working, please do not go out and get still file for your unemployment. It ain't worth it. It's gonna cost you way more down the line. Radio said when you are a racist, all you do is invite constant conflict in your life. You're the one that loses. Exactly. You will lose every time. You never know who you may be next to. And you don't know anything about the person because some people just don't take the time to get to know the person. And that's a problem with them. They don't take the time to get to know them. But hey, each his own. Um, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more on that race after we talk about allegedly Smackabella. Um, uh, yeah, Bill Gates. Woo, yeah, old Smackavelli. I call him Smackavelli because that's the name they gave uh, Bill Clinton when he went through his thing. There's something about Bills and Smackavellis. But excuse me. So came out back when Bill Gates actually stepped down from the board of Microsoft. He was being investigated of an affair with a colleague, and allegations came up that he was hitting on the ladies in the office. Um, so they was hitting on the lady. I'm like, okay. So once Microsoft hired a outside firm to investigate this, that's when Bill stepped down. He stepped down once they hired an outside firm, and they saying that's the reason why Melinda Gates is stepping away. That's why That's when she started looking into um, a divorce attorney. Bill Gates did admit he had an affair with a Microsoft employee, denies being forced off Microsoft board over it, and um, this happened in Melinda started looking into divorce lawyers back in 2019, late 2019, not long after the New York Times reported that Bill Gates had more interaction with pedophile and accused sex trafficking Jeffrey Epstein that she had known about. The Times, the Wall Street Journal reported, um, but it was also in late 2019 that Microsoft board became aware of a letter from a Microsoft engineer who said she had been in a sexual relationship with Bill Gates years earlier. The couple announced their divorce May 3rd after 27 years of marriage. Microsoft board member hired a law firm to investigate the woman allegation and deemed the relationship inappropriate. And by early 2020, some board member decided um, it was no longer suitable for Mr. Gates to sit as a director at the software company he started and led for decades. Mr. Gates resigned before the board investigation was completed and before the full board could make a formal decision on the matter. He had just been reelected to the board in December 2019, 3 months before his March 13th, 2020 resignation. Uh, there was an affair almost 20 years ago, which ended. Um, Bridget Honor, a spokeswoman for Bill Gates, said in a statement Gates' decision to transition off the board was in no way related to this matter. In fact, he had expressed an interest in spending more time on his pathology starting several years earlier. So, um, according to this report, she had been upset with her future ex husband on and off for years, including over a sexual harassment settlement Bill Gates had facilitated for the couple's longtime financial advisor. The Times report some cases, in some circle, Bill Gates had also developed a reputation for questionable conduct in work-related settings. And on at least a few occasions, he had pursued women who worked for him at Microsoft and the Bill and Melinda Foundation. So it's not clear how much Miss Gates knew about her husband's behavior or to what degree it contributed to their split. So basically, allegedly, that's one of the reasons why they're splitting up. Then with him having close contact with Jeffrey Epstein, we know what he did. So hopefully, hopefully Bill not a part of it. But hey, and if it quack like a duck, it's a duck. Radio asked, did they say how old this woman is? No, they didn't. but it was 20 years ago. So she probably was in a young age, probably early 20s. I don't know. But they did not say how old she was. Sometime as a man, we put ourselves in certain situations. Me personally, I don't. And if I find myself in a situation, I'm running. I don't. I'm not gonna stick around. That's why my wife and I we have a great communication because if anybody ever comes said Kurt Dog did this, Kurt Dog did that, my wife know better. But we're talking about uh, thousandaires compared to billionaires. Um, 27 years is a long time. So that's going to be interesting to find out all the evidence and that. And if he did take part in that Jeffrey Epstein, hopefully he didn't. But if he did, he need to be held accountable. I understand he do a lot of great things in the community, but that do not give him a pass. And of course, um, his wife finna be rich, so richer than what she is. So that's gonna be interesting um, to to see how the outcome comes out. So they've been dealing with this, and I was listening to a news channel earlier, and I guess Melinda had rented a island, um, had rented a island for her and the kids. Now, if they've been married 27 years, how old are the kids? I don't it don't say much about the kids, but I know they said he's gonna have to split his I already pulled the story there. Said something like they're gonna have to split the inheritance for the kids to something like 10 million a piece or something if something happened to him. Hey, can I be added on? um, um, Radio said there's a Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix right now. I think you told me about it, and I think I watched one or two episodes several months. I think it was last year sometime. You told me about it, and I watched a couple episodes, and I just couldn't go back to it. I was like, that's when they was going around picking up young ladies in low income areas in Florida, and I was like, this is crazy. Having matter of fact, I think it was one young lady that was in school, going to school with these young lady. Every young lady that she brought to him, she got paid for it. And she ended up going to jail for not prostitution, being a pimp or something, because she was accepting money to bring young ladies to them. Those some sick individuals. And then on top of that, um, it just came out. I forgot the guy name. The congressman or senate down in Florida, the one that been accused, allegedly accused of sex trafficking. Well, his close friend decided to work with the FBI today, and he's ready to tell all. See, that's the key. First one talk, get the best deals. So he's ready to talk now. Um, but I said we're going to talk about race again. Because here's a prime example. Someone that's supposed to be doing the right thing. You're in this position as a prosecutor, but you withholding information, destroying people's life, and you feel like there's nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong at all. See, when a lot of people was complaining about Craig Watkins, not Watson, Watkins, being the DA in Dallas, they started complaining, talking about he shouldn't be concerned about people in jail because during his time, so many people was released because they was falsely accused. Now, here we are. Dallas County ex-prosecutor disbarred for withholding evidence after 2 wrongful capital murder conviction. Mm. A former Dallas County prosecutor has surrendered his law license after the State Board of Texas said he withheld evidence that led to, to the 2 wrongful conviction of 2 men who spent 14 years in prison in the fatal stabbing of a pastor. The Dallas Morning News reported that Rick Jackson surrendered his license last month. The state bar concluded that he failed to inform Dennis Allen and Stanley Mosey, defense attorney, um, about evidence that could have cleared them at their capital murder trial in 2000. This case is not about someone disbarred for making a mistake or a prosecutor who accidentally or even sloppily failed to turn over favorable evidence. Nina Morrison, a lawyer with the Innocent Project in New York who worked to clear Allen and Mosey, um, told the newspaper. This is someone who repeatedly and intentionally hid favorable evidence from 2 defendants who were on trial for their lives. Allen and Mosey had been sentenced to life in prison in the flaying of Reverend Jesse Barnes Jr., who was stabbed 47 times at his leather and woodworking store in 1999. They were declared innocent 5 years after their 2014 release from prison from DNA testing have cleared them. The district attorney office under former DA Craig Watkins had reopened the file and found evidence that defense lawyers said they never received, such as account from witness who saw 2 men argue with Barnes outside the store, and he was killed. Even he was killed. Witness said one man was distantly taller than the other, and one had a noticeable scar across the side of his neck. Allen and Mosey are about the same height, around 6 feet. Neither had a scar. The file also includes previous undisclosed letter from people in jail who agreed to testify against Allen in exchange for favors in their case. Jackson was among prosecutors who were not invited to remain in the Dallas County District Office after Watkins won in 2006 election. Jackson, who had spent 17 years as the Dallas County prosecutor, sued Watkins in federal court, claiming that his termination was race-based. Jackson is white and Watkins is black. A judge tossed the suit. The Innocent Project in New York and the Innocent Project of Texas filed the 196-page grievance with the state bar in 2018 against Jackson. Jackson lawyer Bob Hitton said Jackson has long maintained that he handed over the evidence to the defense and still believed that Allen and Mosey are guilty. He still believed they're guilty even though the evidence don't add up. Man, that sounds like some states, some Senate and Congress that feel like January 6th never did happen. It was all made up, even though they was help barricading the doors. Hilton said Jackson didn't want to commit. Jackson retired from practicing law in 2013 after he was fired from Denton County District Attorney Office. Hilton and Jackson now spend his summer driving tour bus in Alaska. Hilton said that against his advice, Jackson chose not to spend his retirement saving fighting the accusation at the disciplinary hearing where he faced losing his law license. The person who killed Barnes has not been caught. So now he unretired. I do you think he should be charged? Because he did lie. He withheld evidence. He took an oath to do what's right. Yeah, it's easy to get up your license now that you're retired. But those 14 years or 19 years, they spent 14 in prison, another 5 to clear their name. So a total of 19 years of their life is gone. But here it is, you up in Alaska, driving tour buses, retired. It's so easy for you to give up your license. But should you also get charged for what you've done? I feel like you should hold him accountable. That'll prevent the next attorney or the next prosecutor to do something like this. It will show them you're not up above the law. That's why so many people complain about what Craig Watkins was doing. He was clearing so many names because once he went through and started going through the files, it was like every day another name was being cleared of somebody that were wrongfully accused during prison. And as a taxpayer, we all should be upset because every time they have to pay out settlements for that, that's our tax dollars. Those could be the tax dollars that can go to be able to get someone that is licensed in mental health to go out on these calls with the police. For we can stop having people with mental health crisis from being killed by the police because they don't know how to handle it. So yeah, he feel like, hey, he just gonna go on, sweep it under the rug. You don't have to worry about being an attorney anymore. That's why more need to be done. He surrendered his license. Surrendering your license is not good enough. The guys have lost 19 years of their life. Welcome to the show, T Cab. What's going on, Kurt Dog? What's going on? Radio Marcellus. Um, Radio said, hey, T Cab, hope your day is going good. Um, Hopefully she is having a great day. And hopefully she make it home before this weather come through the Metroplex. Because I would assume she just getting off, but hopefully she make it home beforehand. Get out the storm. For some reason, it sounds like I hear thunder off to the distance, but they're saying Dallas is going to get at least another 7 or 8 inches before it's all over. And tonight is supposed to be pretty severe. Um, it's supposed to come in about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. And it's crazy because I seen the footage of one of the tornadoes that hit up in North Dallas, and it was strange. It was strange. Home video caught it. Wind going one way, and then all of a sudden you see that tree blowing one way, and then it came back the other way. I said, "Oh Lord." Uh, okay. Well, tell your husband, say hello. Um, uh, Hopefully, your husband can't wait to see you either, so that's a good thing. Um, but that's that's the difference because can you imagine these guys could have been free 19 years of their life gone? I don't know if they have kids, but if they do have kids, that's 19, well, 14 of those 19 years they can never get back. Can never get it back. And tell him don't get jealous. Tell him join. Need to tell him he need to watch the show. Yeah. Tell him don't get jealous of me. I was married. Yeah. But can you imagine 14 years and the whole time they're innocent? That's why it's very important that we get out and vote. We get out and vote. We vote to let our voice be heard. Now I know last night I didn't get a chance to reach out to um, Kirk Johnson today. It's been a crazy day, but I'm gonna do it in the morning. And Kirk, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Also, want to find out. Um, I was contacted yesterday asking if we can have you and your opponent to come on here and do a debate. So if you can hear it or if someone knows Kurt, um, have him reach out to me. I will reach out to him tomorrow for sure. In the morning, I'll reach out to him. But also, Miss Risky actually sent me this article about um uh hold on, trying to pull it up real quick. So I guess it came out where um Illinois is going to teach about Asian American history. It's going to be a requirement now. It's going to be a requirement that they actually teach them, which is good. Um, Also, Um, while I was researching it, uh, hold on, which I think is a good thing. What Illinois is doing? Well, here's the key. I like to be fair, and I'm open. I said, well, let me check and see. Uh, Let me check and see what else Illinois is doing. T. Cal said, I can't even be mad at the Asian culture. No, because when I tell you what Illinois is also doing, which is it's a plus. This came out April 19th. New Illinois law expand Black history education. And so they're actually gonna start to hold on real quick. Let me make sure because this is a different story I'm reading. Want to make sure I'm saying this right because the title said the new law expand Black history education, but want to make sure this is exactly what they're doing. Um, da, da, da. So, if that is true, um, okay, yeah, the Illinois Legislation Black Caucus, um, which was signed into law by Governor J.B. Pritzker in March, one part of the new law required that schools teach an expanded version of Black history. Lessons should include the period that predates enslavement, dating back to 3000 BCE. The reason for slavery in the American Civil Rights Movement. Previous Illinois mandate Black history instruction include the African slave trade, slavery in America, um, and the ventures of slavery in the U.S., but specify no other time period. So State Rep. LaShawn K. Ford, a Democrat and member of the Illinois Black Caucus, say he was motivated to pass the legislation because the history taught in school today is inaccurate and biased toward Eurocentral and white preservative historical event. Ford is a former social study teacher, and he represents portion of Chicago West Side and Western suburbans. I believe that when history was written, it was written with only one group at the table, white man. And so I think that this is not an attack on white men. This is just letting it, just getting it right, realizing that it's from one lens, and we want to fix that for say. He said it was deeply important to him that the legislation mandate instruction about events that took place prior to the African trade, uh, slave trade. For say most instruction on Black history began with slavery, which send a message to students that Black people have always been oppressed and their contribute to society are limited to the fight to end that oppression. Um, but the truth is, we were born in a country where we kept kings and queens. We were we were where we had community and culture, and we actually made major contribute to our country. And when we were uprooted, taken away from our culture, and our history was erased, Ford said. The new law also required the creation of 22-member Inclusive American History Commission that would review available education resources that reflect racial and ethnicity diversity provide guidance for the new learning standard to help educators ensure their instruction and content is not biased to value specific cultures, time period, and experience. See, that's something that every state need to do. Now we already know as for the state of Texas, we know how Greg Abbott feel. He would never allow that to happen. He won't allow it to happen because he had an issue last year when a teacher compared the police today to the Klansmen back in the days. Said that teacher should be reprimanded. Well, you should be reprimanded too for the poor job you've been doing as governor of Texas. That's why next year we're gladly going to vote you out. We're going to send you packing. Your time is up. Your time is up. Just like Dan Patrick and Ken Paxson, your time is up. There's another reason to get out and vote, because also next year, the Board of Education is up for re-election. But if you don't get the people that want the true history of America taught to our kids, that's going to be a problem. Because everybody don't want the true history of America taught. They don't want to discuss these things. They feel like they just want to leave the past in the past. They only want to talk about the good of America to certain folks. Like I say all the time, America haven't always been great to black folks. Yeah, some of us made it, but a lot of us haven't. Then they want to say, well, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstrap. How can we pull ourselves up by our bootstrap if we don't even have boots on? Yeah. So we as a people need to send a message to our leaders. Let them know we're tired. People want to say, oh, since you speak out about it, you racist. And T. Cal, I didn't ask you this, but I would assume you driving. But I did tell people, hey, had someone to leave a message on YouTube yesterday, or they did it today at 3 p.m. They said people are starting to talk, they're starting to teach racism again. My question is, when did racism stop being taught? Because when you tell your kids negative stuff about another race that is not the same as yours, that's racist. And majority of the time, the black folks are the ones that get the short end of the stick. We'll be told, you'll tell your kids, oh, they're aggressive, they thugs, they lazy, they this, they that. But let the truth be told, it's some of everything you describe in every race. In every race. Welcome to the show, Marie Stroker. Uh, Thank you for tuning in, watching on Facebook. Um, So it's some of that in every race. But people like to highlight just the things negative about black folks. But what we have to look at, you got to look at your own race. You got to look at your own race. Yeah, I know it's people uh, say a lot of things about black folks, but don't come to me talking about um, race is being taught again. Hell, it never stopped. It never stopped. Race have always been taught. How you think America was stolen? Oops. It wasn't just, hey, we're gonna do this. Came stole it from Native American. Then you turn around and complain because we protest. We speak out about it and say that, oh, you teaching racism. No, the experience that we have taught us we're in a different time now. We're not just gonna sit back and take whatever you say. No, that's a different breed. We're gonna say and do what's right. And now it's a different breed coming up behind me. This new breed, they had a mindset by any means necessary. But we need to change our leaders. If we get that down, where we get the laws changed, where it's equal across the board, that will make a difference. But Richard E. Jackson surrendered his uh, bar license, state bar license. The man had no intention at all to practice law again. And the thing is, um, now they did mention with him, he was fired. He decided not to practice no more after he was fired from the Denton County prosecutor office. I wonder why was he fired from there? So at this point, he need to be held accountable. Surrender his license? Hell, man had no intention on practicing no more. So he need to be held accountable. But some people they'll say that's racist too. No, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And what he did cost the two guys 19 years of their life, all because he did not share information. But he's up driving tour buses up in Alaska. He had no intention on practicing law again. That's racist. He didn't care. And then even in the story, they even said he still feel like today they guilty with all the evidence there. And the brother's been out of jail, and he still feel like they racist. And he probably was one of the main ones that complained about former DA Craig Watkins, because Craig was on top of it. They kept telling me he don't need to be doing that. He need to be concerned about other things. Craig Watson did make a difference in the city of Dallas. And if he ever run again, I will vote for him again. So, but you have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. Uh, Once again, here in DFW, we're expecting some severe storms tonight. It's going to be a rough night. I know this morning, I guess about four something this morning, woke up to thunder and lightning. I'm like, man, but hey, it's May. Um, that's what we get. Um, but please be careful. Um, they're saying some of these storms could be severe. I think at least five tornadoes hit in Texas yesterday. I think Austin, Ellis County, two in Dallas hit up there. And so please be careful. No matter what part of Texas you at, or if you up under the sound of my voice, these storms are going to be fast moving, a lot of rain. And the bad part here in Dallas, we got up to 82 degrees today. It rained this morning, got up to 82 degrees today. And once it stopped raining, it got up to 82. And now it's going to drop again. So it's not going to be a good night tonight. But I pray that everybody is stay safe tomorrow night. Hopefully, I will have a response from Kurt Johnson. And hopefully, we can get this debate going between him and his opponent, which I don't think the guy gonna do it personally, but if he do, it will surprise me. Um, Hopefully, the person told him I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna I'm gonna ask all the hard questions, but you're gonna have to respect this platform. So hopefully, I'm able to get that together. But until tomorrow night, um, I will see y'all tomorrow night if the good Lord said the same. Until then, I love each and every one of you. Peace.